What's going on, everyone? Welcome into Around the Felt. We got our Week 5 recap on store for you tonight, recording Monday night. So no Chiefs, Jaguars in this episode, but we're patiently waiting for, hopefully, a wheel hit tonight, not a strip at the 1-yard line. But, Reagan,
Yeah.
how you doing, my friend? Good to be back. Tough day in the office for both of our teams yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just like a fantasy guy now, so I don't really care about the actual nitty-gritties of it. Football's more enjoyable when you don't have a team. Just a lot more enjoyable. Just stick to fantasy football, man. That's where it's at. My two main leagues, I'm 5-0, so I had a buddy in one of my leagues joking around saying, you basically traded your soul for your fantasy football team for the Jets, and I'm like, yeah, sure, we'll go with that. We'll go with that. I mean, it is funny that at least every week I've been happy in my two fantasy leagues.
That's a good way to look at it, man. I like the positives that you're coming away with from this week because, boy, the Jets did not look good. But hey, neither did my Giants, losing to the 0-4 Saints. So I can't really talk, but we got a lot to discuss tonight. As always, we're going to start with the news. Pretty light, which is a good sign. It means there weren't a lot of injuries this week. Unfortunately for Amarian Hampton, fantasy owners, he's going on the IR with an ankle injury right after 2 awesome games. Just a total heartbreaker to hear on a Monday. Your thoughts on this, Reagan? And with the Chargers, who have been dealing with a lot of injuries and coming off 2 straight losses to the Giants and the Commanders, things are not looking good for a team that we were both very high on coming into the season.
Yeah, I mean, it obviously sucks for the offense. I mean, dude was really coming into his own after Najee Harris went down. I mean, he's had some big games over the past couple weeks. So that aspect's unfortunate. I mean, for Dynasty, it's not a worry. For redraft, yeah, it really will hurt your teams a lot. And there's really no clear-cut guy to pick up. I'm not going to rule out that they might not go sign somebody else or go trade for somebody because, right now the next 2 guys up are Haskins and Kadami Videll.
Yeah.
So I don't really know which one I would rather have. I slightly lean Videll just because he's the more athletic back out of the 2, where Haskins is more the bruiser. He might get the goal line work, but Videll will probably get the third down work. And the way this Chargers team looks right now with all the injuries, I don't see them being up big in any games till they get healthy. So I think it's going to be a lot of close shootouts or even them trailing. So I think Videll's the one to put the money on and the waiver claims on. But still, I mean, you're not loving playing either of them, but we just saw with the Cardinals backfield, similar situation where, Michael Carter and Amari DiMercato both were the guys to pick up. And DiMercato, I think, had 2 touchdowns and then almost did break a touchdown to save you if you did start him. Obviously, just let it go on the 1-yard line, something we've seen now 2 weeks in a row.
Oh, my God. Just so asinine, man. So asinine.
But Michael Carter had, 15 carries and I think 5 or 6 catches. So it's clear that he's going to be the main guy in that offense. And even Zonovan Knight, who I didn't even know was still in the league, former Jet as well. Cardinals got 2 Jets running backs. So that was cracking me up as well. Heavily involved. So as well. So what I would say is if you're really in need for a running back and you don't have anyone else, I would go for Videll out of the 2. But both should be picked up because we'll see. He's going to miss 4 weeks. Najee's out for the year, so there's touches to be had.
Yeah, hopefully Joe Alt comes back and Amarian Hampton comes back and this offense gets humming again. But it was ugly against the Commanders, and that's a defense that I don't necessarily think is, the cream of the crop in the NFL right now. Moving on there, the last piece of news. We got to touch on it. Unfortunate. Mark Sanchez arrested, multiple charges. It's gotten raised to a felony assault charge now. I mean, I'm sure everyone's seen this story, but if you haven't, apparently Mark Sanchez was in Indianapolis ready to call the Colts-Raiders game on Sunday, and, he was a little intoxicated and was doing, I'm seeing wind sprints in the alley. I don't really know what that entails, but doing some wind sprints, told some driver, 69-year-old man, you cannot park there, who was picking up, frying oil, cooking oil or something, I don't know, and yeah, he got a little aggressive and beat the shit out of the guy and then got stabbed in the chest. Was in critical condition. He's going to be all right, it seems like, but I don't know if his broadcasting career is going to be all right, and this is definitely a stain on his legacy. I don't know if this outweighs the butt fumble, but not ideal for Mark
Trying
Sanchez
to make a joke there? Staying on his legacy?
The butt fumble.
I don't think you were
That
trying to
was
make a
not
pun.
intended, but it worked out pretty well.
It's a pretty good pun if you tried to do it. Yeah, no, I mean, it's just wild. And it was crazy because, like, everyone's like, oh, man, like, this world is sick. And then you hear more and more about it. And you're like, oh, no, Mark Sanchez is just a fucking asshole. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, you feel bad for the guy to get stabbed. But, like, and when it comes to self-defense, if somebody's coming after you, you got to defend yourself at all means necessary. So, good for that guy that he was able to protect himself if Sanchez was hammered and, really going to fuck him up.
Yeah, and that's the thing is Adam Schefter first tweeted out that it was an attempted robbery. That was obviously not the case. So
No.
it seems like Mark Sanchez, from bystander reports, that he was the aggressor in the situation. I don't know, man. It just seems like something really, really stupid to do. I mean, that's got to be a terrible hangover.
Yeah, right. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
bad.
man.
That's all we got out of news, though. Reagan, do we have any questions on deck for tonight?
We do. Let's go to Walmart right away.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is why you don't listen to just anyone on the microphone in their hand. Because, man, oh, man, these around the felt guys don't know what they're doing. It was Washington all the way.
I know when Walmart chimes in, it's after Commanders W.
Hey, man, they looked good. They looked good. I really wasn't sure how they would look because I didn't love how Jaden and that offense looked against the Packers. And then, it was hard to gauge them with the Mariota-led offense. But, damn, they looked good. And I guess Bill's now fully taking over that backfield. I wasn't expecting that. I mean, I had a lot of people trying to acquire him recently for cheap. But I'm like, you know what? I'd rather just hold on to this lottery ticket. And it seems like Bill's season is here. I mean, he looked great, even with the fumble. He still had the 2 touchdowns, super efficient on the ground, involved as a receiver as well. And Rodriguez and McNichols, didn't really get a ton of touches. Like, they had 6 carries to Bill's 14. So he had 14 of the 20 running back carries and seemed to be, and he was also targeted the most out of the running backs. So I haven't actually looked at how many snaps he played, but it seems like, Bill's season's loading up, so you should be excited about that. And the defense looks
Reagan,
great. I mean, they held the Chargers to 10.
Yeah, they did. Bill's snap share was only 47%, and he had all that production. That's the highest of his career thus far, though. You have to imagine next week that's going to be more like 60, right? Like it should be. 14 for 111 is legit.
Yeah. I mean, I'm plugging him in my lineup. The main reason is because I have Bucky Irving in that league, so I'm definitely plugging him in and taking the risk. I had to play Woody Marks this week, which unfortunately burnt you if you did that. But it's hard to gauge with some of these rookies that are later picks. As Colin's putting on Bill on the trade block in one of our
put him on the
leagues.
trade block. Yep.
That's awesome. Trying to sell high. Hey, I can't blame you. But
Yeah.
Walmart, I would be excited about how your Commanders looked. When in doubt, as long as they got Jaden, they're in any freaking game.
Yeah, and the Eagles lost, so they gained a game on Philadelphia. Jaden's back, so definitely a big weekend for Commanders fans.
All right, now he wants to know. He's got 2, so I'll start with the first part of the question, and we'll do the second part after. So the first part of it is, how do you rank the top 5 rookie running backs to this point?
Wow, it's a really, really good
For me,
question.
I have a clear-cut one.
So
for me, it's Judkins is one.
Let's list them out first. So we got Genty, Hampton, Judkins, Henderson, Harvey.
Is that what he
drafted?
I don't know. He says not betting related, but ranked the top 5 rookie running backs up to this point.
Oh, so your mindset, not the first 5 drafted, but any 5 you could rank.
Yeah, that's what I thought he meant.
Okay,
he said for wide receivers too, and it's like, if you're doing that, then like, where do you rank Travis Hunter? I'm going to take it as, who are your top 5 rookie running backs thus far? Because I feel like him as a Commanders fan, he wants us to see if we can get Bill in the top 5. So let me ask you. So my top 5 rookie running backs to this point, I have Judkins at 1. I've been super impressed with what he's done. From the get-go, as soon as he's been activated, his first game, super efficient, not a whole lot of volume. But then after that, he's just been getting the lion's share, on a really bad offense, but getting it done. Last weekend against the Vikings in London, he had a great game, over 100 yards for the first time in his career. Could have had more, but, had a touchdown called back with penalties. Granted, does he get the touchdown if there aren't the penalties? 2 for me is Genty right now. He's really come into his own these past 2 weeks. 3 is Hampton. I was very impressed with him. I understand he's injured, but that doesn't matter to me. Then at 4, I will put Scatabo. I've been super impressed with him. Just really a grinder there. You can tell right away, like, he is going to be, probably their number one option for the rest of the season. He's very talented, a lot more juice than Tracy has at this point. And then 5 for me, it's kind of tough because, like, Henderson just hasn't gotten a ton of work yet. Sampson, as soon as Judkins taken over, like, hasn't been involved. You could go with Bill, but after 1 week, like, are you really buying stock? And still, he only had like 50% snap share. Yeah, I mean, I guess you have to go with Bill. It really comes down to, like, him, Woody Marks, Travion Henderson, and Woody Marks has had one good game. Bill's gotten in a couple times this year already. And I think he'll continue to get better. And the backfield's wide open, where Woody Marks still has a Nick Chubb there, and we don't know about Joe Mixon. And Henderson is still going to be dealing with, now that the Gibson's out, I mean, that opens up more. But Ramondre, even with the fumble, still got the 2 touchdowns last night. So I'll give Bill the nod at 5.
Yeah, I wish I could argue with your list. I also have Judkins 1, and it sucks, dude, because that run that got called back. I mean, I get it. It was a slight hold. It was cheeky, though. I think he was going to score anyways. And then we're looking at him and like, wow, this guy is an absolute freak, right? Because you look at his stat line, it's like, geez, add another 60 yards and a touchdown on top of that. And that's legit. And that's against a legitimate Minnesota defense, right? And
Yeah.
the fact he had no training camp at all, and he just walked right in and has been, I don't want to use the word dominant, but almost there.
Oh,
right?
dominant,
Like,
yeah.
Like it's actually insanely impressive. I agree. You got to go with Genty at 2. You could even argue 1 because his yards after contact was like so close to his rushing yards because he's getting no help. And he had that electric game in week 4. He had that 3 touchdown game. Hampton, of course, had the 2 monster games. So I think he's got to be up there as well. But he had a little bit of a slow start where, I'm going to give Judkins the nod over Hampton too. Yeah, I love Travion Henderson. You can't put him in that top 5 right now, just not getting the snap share for God knows what. I mean, I already went on my rant. I'm not going to do it again.
Well, Gibson's out, so I think that would improve.
It should. It absolutely should. And Ramondre fumbled again, right? So, like, what are we doing here? I got to go Scatabo at 4 as well. Like, how do you not? The guy's getting the volume. He's even doing it in the blocking game as well, which is really impressive from a rookie back. And 5, I mean, Bill just had a monster game, a better game than any other rookie back behind there, right?
I mean, you could say Harvey too. You could put Harvey in that conversation. He's had some good games as well, but it's just tough because he's not getting the volume either.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with your 5, brother.
Yeah, I mean, and I just want to make another point on Judkins. Like, he's still 12-1, so the value's there. I did take Gabriel today at 28-1, just because he threw 2 touchdowns, didn't turn over the ball, and he also had a cheeky garbage time touchdown against the Ravens in week 2. So he is 3 touchdowns to no turnovers. Or actually, no, I don't think he fumbled it at all.
I don't think he looked that good though, to be honest with you, man. I really don't.
I don't think he looked bad though. Granted, to start your first game in London, like, I don't know.
True. I mean, Harold Fannin, I think, is going to be his new favorite target. You could definitely see that report building for sure. But the fact that he was unable to find like Judy and his receivers downfield for a lot of the game, I thought was slightly concerning. And like teams they don't respect his arm strength.
It's tough though, because you also got to give credit to Brian Flores. Like, you're going against Brian Flores, a blitz happy guy.
Great DC as well.
It's not like Cam Ward or Jackson Dart have looked incredibly better in their first starts.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like, when you actually look at the stats, like, yeah, the Giants won against the Chargers, but you're not going to sit here and say they won because Jackson Dart lit up the stat sheet. Like, he had some big runs, but didn't light it up with his arm. And Cam Ward, has showed some flashes. But even that win against the Cardinals, it wasn't like, one of their freaking touchdowns was because he threw a terrible interception that got bailed out because the defender slipped. You know what I mean? So it's not like, I more so give the Giants defense credit against the Chargers, and the Titans win against the Cardinals was so fluky. So to me, like, I don't know. And then obviously you can look at the running backs and stuff, and like Abuka's actually plus 100 right now. So he's, starting to pull away with that. But I don't know. I just think the value's there at 28-1 if they can rattle off some wins. Like, you see how banged up the Ravens and Bengals are, and like, I don't think either of us are super sold on the Steelers right now. So I'm not saying the Browns are going to go out and win that division, but they have their schedule has gotten significantly easier in light of some recent events.
That is true. That is absolutely true.
So, when they play their next 6 games are against Steelers, Dolphins, Patriots, Jets, Ravens, Raiders. So, and then they get the Titans still later on. So, like, I'm not going to sit here and act like they're going to win a ton of games, but, if they're in the wild card conversation come, week 16, week 17, where it's like, yeah, they got to win out to make it, like, with that defense, I wouldn't be shocked. So I'm just saying if I'm just playing the value game here, and the fact that he's a quarterback will help his case.
I know, because if they do get to that point, like, you got to imagine Judkins is a monster getting them there too. And it's like the quarterback always gets the nod, but I don't know, man. I don't know.
I think both guys are great value right now. That's all I'm saying. All right, so let's move on. Oh, wait, his other one was, how do you rank the wide receivers? So same question. Who are your top 5 rookie wide
I
receivers?
think number 1 is absolutely Emeka Egbuka. Can you argue that? Like, it's absolutely.
Yeah, I
He's
would
a
probably
stud, dude.
say
He's a
it.
stud.
I mean, I still like Tet a lot. I just think what hurts Tet is he's playing with Bryce Young versus Baker Mayfield. And trust me, I'm a big Bryce Young guy, but Baker Mayfield's a whole nother level. And, right now it's pretty obvious on that Panthers offense. Like, they have no other pass catchers outside of Tet. We're on the Buccaneers, and I'm not trying to take away credit from Egbuka, but, like, you're still playing alongside guys like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Granted, you haven't gotten to see the whole repertoire together yet, the trio. And, they have a competent running back in Bucky Irving and stuff. And I know it's all banged up. So I'll give Egbuka the nod right now, but I'm still, like, super high on Tet. Like, he's no doubt 2 for me right now.
I agree.
I think those guys are interchangeable. Then at 3, it's really tough because, like, he just said wide receiver. So we're not counting Tyler Warren.
I mean, you can't go Travis Hunter with the production.
Oh, wait, hold on 1 second. Hold on. I don't know what just. Yeah, so I mean, at this point we have Tet at 2, Egbuka at 1. 3 through 5 is weird because I feel like it's honestly a whole different tier to me. There's nobody that's really stuck out. I mean, Matthew Golden has shown a couple flashes. Travis Hunter, like, do you fully view him as a wide receiver? Like, he hasn't even really done much. Luther Burden has, like, one big catch. And then guys like Tesla, Ayumanor, and Horton, while they haven't had a ton of production, have had some big touchdowns for their teams of significance. So, and then there's guys like, Trey Harris, Deontay Thornton Jr., Pat Bryant that got, like, a ton of buzz but haven't broken out yet. Oh, and also not Jalen Noel, Jaden Higgins. So there's a couple guys that are, like, haven't really broken out yet. So I guess at 3 right now, I'm gonna go with Matthew Golden based off of
Golden.
The capital potential production. 4, I'll go with Ayumanor. He's been honestly, becoming that number 1 for Cam Ward. And at 5, I mean, I guess I'll go with, like, and I don't think this is gonna last long, but I mean, I gotta go with what's the word? Oh, Torrey Horton from the Seahawks, because he's had 4 touchdowns already for them. So while I don't think he's, a long-term guy for them, or in the sense where he's ever going to become, a top tier wide receiver, like, he's been good so far. So
yeah, I mean, I guess if you're going to rank it purely off production through 5 weeks, like, it's hard to argue with that list because not a lot of these guys have produced, right?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, I still think Travis Hunter is a significantly better player than Ayumanor. Or, I mean, I even think he's better than Golden, right? But it's like, what have you done for me lately kind of thing? And we just haven't seen it yet. So it's nothing. And like you said, Burden's got 1 game where he has 3 catches for 100 yards, but has not been a part of the offense otherwise. So, yeah, I mean, how can you argue him? Like, Horton's got 4 touchdowns. Higgins didn't do shit, and now he's got a couple tutties, but, like, still the production's not there. Tesla does not get targeted. When he does, he'll make a play, though. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, definitely.
It's been a pretty disappointing start for the rookie wide receiver class, for sure, outside of the top 2-3 guys.
Yeah, no, I haven't been overly impressed. No, definitely not. I mean, the running backs have this is definitely a better running back class, and it's been a wide receiver class, which we kind of expected. But
and you know what? Like a point being too, like, going into next year, like, when you think about your fantasy leagues and the rookie drafts, like, we knew 2024 a loaded wide receiver class. Like, I fucked up and I took the top running back in Jonathan Brooks at the end of the first round. Why would I do that? Because he got picked high because he's a running back, when it's like, wait, the strength of this class is the receivers. Then in 2025, you flip it. The running backs were loaded. The receiver class was very weak. So you take like a top receiver high in your rookie draft because he's the number one receiver, and you're like, I need a receiver. No, man, go into the strength of the class. I think the past 2 years have kind of shown us that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, so let's move on to Garrett. He wants to know, regular football question. Do you think the Bears will regret drafting Loveland over Warren for years to come? I know it's too soon, but early returns are not looking good.
Yeah, dude. Hey, I absolutely think Tyler Warren is the better player. Like Loveland, yeah, he has the tools. He has the long frame. Like he made plays at Michigan with some shit quarterback play, absolutely. But Tyler Warren was just a different breed of athlete where he's almost like a unicorn. Like you don't have tight ends in college that are throwing passes and that are running the football to that degree. Like I said it before the draft, Reagan, I was like, who's the last guy we saw take an end around to the house? Brock Bowers. And look at what he did last year. Just different athletes at the position. And I was like, Tyler Warren, I love so much more than Colston Loveland. And then Loveland goes 10, and you're like, shit, like in that Bears offense with Ben Johnson, like, could he be something big? We haven't seen him do anything yet, So it's a little disappointing. But Tyler Warren just looks like an absolute freak. He looks like he's going to be a multi-time All-Pro in this league already. The guy's just a different freak of nature. I saw someone made a joke. He's like, wow, a tight end or / wide receiver / running back, a non-quarterback drawing up a passing play and actually throwing the ball away when it's not there. Yeah, this guy's going to be elite.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know if they're going to regret not taking Warren. I think you're going to see with the Bears down the stretch, like there were other guys they probably could have taken there that would have bigger impacts. Like the pick is still weird to me. Even if they took Warren, I think it would have been a weird pick because it's like, what was the point? And I know it's a different regime, but not a different GM, but different head coach. But they're paying Cole Kmet $12.5 million a year, which is a lot of money for a tight end. Like he's making top tier tight end money. They gave him a 4-year, $50 million contract. So that was why it was head scratching at the time, because Cole Kmet is still a very good tight end. Did he not? And correct me if I'm wrong, win the Belindikoff when he was in college at Notre Dame?
Well, Belindikoff is wide receiver. I think it's the O'Mackey Award, right?
Or the O'Mackey. Yeah, whatever it is for the tight ends. But still, I mean, he was a beast in college and then drafted in the second round and produced for the Bears and got rewarded with a big contract. So I don't think they ever should have taken a tight end in general. Kind of similar, and obviously Rome's working out now, but when they took Rome last year, it was also head scratching in the sense where it was like, yeah, the rich is getting richer, but you're not rich in the sense where this team sucks and they have way bigger holes. So
what I will say to that point is I understand Ben Johnson wants to run 2 tight end sets a lot. He did it a ton in Detroit, a lot of power football. That doesn't mean you have to use a top 10 pick on a tight end. Because if you're using a top 10 pick on the tight end, he's got to be a unicorn. He's got to be a difference maker in the receiving game, which Loveland might be, right? He might be. We haven't seen it yet. You could have taken a tight end later in the draft and used that in a premium position. At least wide receiver is a premium position, right? So you took him in the top 10 when you had Keenan Allen, DJ Moore. But you know what? That's a position where the top elite guys are going to make over $30 million a year. Yeah. So you kind of want to get a stud on a rookie contract in the top 10. Like that's kind of the goal, and that's how you roster build. Because you got to think down the road, if this guy pans out like I think he is, I'm going to be paying him a fuck ton of money top of his position. So that's why it makes more sense from a receiver than a tight end.
Yeah. All right. His next question. As someone who has a Baker Mayfield MVP ticket, what should my confidence level be going forward?
Dude, I mean, for someone that has that ticket and those odds, you got to be feeling really good with how the season has started. Now, my only slight concern is they're winning by the skin of their teeth. They're all one-possession games. It comes down to the wire. How sustainable is that? I don't know. But what you can't deny is he did a lot of this without Tristan Wirfs and then Mike Evans and then Chris Godwin. He doesn't even have the band fully together yet, and you anticipate he's going to keep this up. He's going to throw for over 4,000 yards. He might throw for 40 touchdowns. Like, he's in the thick of things here, and if the Bucs continue winning games and they push for that number 1 seed in the NFC, maybe if there are 2 or 3. Yeah, Baker Mayfield's in that conversation. Lamar's out of it right now, it seems like, with the injury and how the Ravens have performed. Mahomes has looked awesome, but doesn't have the stats per se as Baker. Allen's been great too. Like, Allen's always a threat. But outside of that, like, you look around, like Dak's been amazing too, but their record's not good enough. They're not going to have good enough a record at the end of the season. Like, what are really your options around the league right now? Like, this is very wide open. And with the way the Bucs have played, particularly Baker Mayfield, And hey, he's doing it in a way where he's using his legs. He's making big plays. He's a leader of the team. He's giving energy to that locker room. Yeah, you got to be feeling real good about where you're at through 5 weeks.
Yeah. He's now 11-1 right now, so definitely getting better and better. Herbert's 10-1, Mahomes 4-1, and Allen is plus 150. Stafford 12-1, Love 13-1, Goff 15-1, Hurts 16-1. And then you get to the guys that have missed some time, and Lamar and Daniels both 22-1. Even Daniel Jones 45-1. Dak is 45-1, which I think there is some value there based off of how he's playing. I just think a lot of it will get factored in the long run. Is just, hey, this defense is atrocious. Like, it's a lot of garbage time work, but even Stafford, man, I mean, 11-2, leading the league in yards right now and tied for second in passing touchdowns. Definitely interesting, but
Yeah,
I still
but
got
that
my
Niners
Herbert
loss
future.
doesn't help. The
Yeah,
Rams are 3-2 now. I mean, long season, right? We've seen the Rams turn it on the second half for sure. That's a tough loss, right? They're still a
yeah,
damn good team. They've lost the Eagles in a heartbreaker and the Niners by 3. So those aren't
yeah.
bad losses by any stretch of the means.
I view Herbert and Mayfield in the same tier, so I would say you should feel pretty good because you can basically knock Lamar and Burrow out of the. Well, obviously you can knock Burrow out of the conversation, but those are two guys in the beginning where you're like they need to play bad to even get into the conversation. So you've already narrowed the field down significantly, losing those two guys. And it helps that Allen and Mahomes have won it before, so you already have that voter fatigue in your favor. Allen last night didn't look great to me. I know he didn't have like the worst of games, but I view last night's game as a negative, not a positive for him. I mean, only one pick, but to me, he didn't look like Superman last night. But still, it's not going to hurt him terribly. But still 2 turnovers last night from Allen, losing
Yeah.
at home against your division rivals. Not a great look.
Nope,
So,
not at all.
but yeah. And then his final question is: can we officially crown Ohio State as wide receiver you?
Yeah, after watching JSN and Emeka Buka go back and forth, I still think it's LSU. But
Really?
I still think it's LSU. But Ohio State's right there at
Wow,
number 2 in
really,
my
bro?
opinion. Yeah.
How? Because
Yeah, I think it's
who even
LSU.
is LSU besides like Neighbors and Brian Thomas at this point? I guess Jettas and Chase.
2 of the best receivers in the league.
No, I'm fucking with you. Fucking with you. Yeah, no, I mean, so you got those 4, and then you got from Ohio State, you got more guys, but I guess they don't have the top tier guys.
Well,
yet.
Jeremiah Smith's another one coming, right? So, ask me in
Yeah.
2027, all right? But
They do
I mean,
have
yeah, they
him
got
coming.
Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Emeka Buka, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Terry McLaurin, Marv. They might have a
Olave.
deeper. They might have a. Yeah, I said Olave. They might have a
Oh, you
deeper
did.
bench, but the I think just the studs from LSU. I got to give it to LSU because then you want to throw in like Odell Beckham Jr. too, right? Like you can. Like,
Well, I mean, can you? Is that what we're doing right now?
yeah. I mean, what
I mean,
is
they're
it?
good.
It's
I mean,
defined
there's
by
probably
active
good.
or not?
I would imagine active because I would imagine. I mean, I don't know like fully, but I'd imagine there's some good retired Ohio State wide receivers, and then the conversation starts getting all crazy.
Terrell Pryor, who's a quarterback at Ohio State, who had 1,000-yard season.
That's true. Got to put him in there. Let's
Got to put him in
see.
there.
Got to put him in there. I mean, yeah, I guess it's Terry. Who else? KJ Hill. Why is he even on this list? Paris Campbell. Gotta love that. Michael Thomas. I mean, yeah, I guess Michael
If you throw
Thomas.
OBJ in, you got to throw Michael Thomas in.
And at the end of the day, like I would say, they're probably the same tier. Like OBJ had the higher peak, but like I don't even know. I mean, they're pretty even. Like I would say, like, yeah, that's a crazy debate, but I would say they're about pretty even. I mean, freaking OBJ had some great seasons. Michael Thomas led the league in catches one year, so both at their peaks were beasts.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Both had
definitely a good
crazy
debate.
drop offs quickly.
You can argue either one. I think Ohio State's got a deeper bench, but right now the LSU's star power gives them the nod in my book. But maybe Jeremiah Smith will tilt the odds in Ohio State's favor in a couple years.
For sure. All right, let's move on to our final question asker of the night. Mr. Caleb around the bases. He wants to know, and he's got 2 questions. We'll start out with the first one. Which team gained the most momentum this week and can words are tough. Let's start over. Which team gained the most momentum this week and could translate that into a winning streak?
How about the Denver Broncos? Take it down the Eagles on the road, dude. The Eagles that have lost, like, before this, it was like one of their last 21 or 22 games. I mean, when you go and beat the Eagles in their place, a hostile environment, that is a huge sign. I know Bo Nix has had his early season struggles, but that's got to be a huge confidence booster for him and the rest of the Broncos squad.
Yeah, no, that's a great pick. Another one, I guess you could say,
New England. I mean, come on. They go on the
yeah,
road and upset
New
the
England.
Bills, and they got a soft schedule coming up, dude. They might win a lot of games.
Yep. I mean, I'm going to go with the Panthers, big one against the Dolphins, because guess what? You get the Cowboys and the Jets the next 2 weeks. So we could be looking at potentially a 4-3 Panthers team going to take on the Bills after that.
You know
But
what's
still,
so funny? Because you have the
what?
Panthers in the playoffs, and I was looking at that game early, and I was like, geez, you're going to be 1-4. Like, Reagan's not going to be happy, man. His Panthers, it's
Now,
another
yeah,
bad year. And then all of a sudden, look at 2 weeks ahead. A winning record is in play.
a winning record's definitely in play. What about Tennessee? Could Tennessee potentially?
No,
I mean, hey,
that was the
I don't
luckiest
know.
win
Wait,
I've
hold
ever
on.
seen in my life, dude. That team is ass. They're not going to
They
go on a
got
winning streak.
the Raiders next week, the Patriots at home, and then the Colts on the road. And while the Colts should dominate them, I don't care. It's a division game. I'm just saying, if somehow the Titans rattle off another 2 wins in a row, don't be shocked. Don't be shocked, man. I
I'd
mean,
be
hey.
shocked.
What about who else is there? I mean, what about Minnesota? Nah, probably not. They got the Eagles and Chargers. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's probably it.
yeah. Yeah, we'll see. All right, and then he wants to know who is to blame for the dumpster fire that is the Jets defense.
Woody Johnson. Did you see Robert Sala's brother tweeted today? He's like, ever since Robert Saleh got fired, they went from one of the top defenses to one of the worst defenses in football. They haven't forced a single turnover this season in 5 games, and they're like 3-14 in the 17 games since Robert Saleh was fired. I don't think Robert Saleh was going to be the guy to bring them back to the promised land, but Woody Johnson is the guy to blame here. Let's be honest. Aaron Glenn might be in a little bit over his head right now.
I don't even know. I mean, at this point, I blame Saleh a little bit because a lot of these guys are his guys, and while the defense is bad and letting up a lot of points, like they're also heavily penalized as well. And these are Robert Saleh's guys, and these guys were also heavily penalized when he was the coach. They were just, I guess, forcing more turnovers back then. I don't know, but I mean, this still seems like the same defense that is getting a ton of penalties that are, leading on, when we were at the Jets-Bills game and it's 3rd and 18 and Josh Allen's going out of bounds, throwing the ball away, and he gets fucking lit up. It's just like stupid shit like that where it's like, I don't care who your defense is. Like, it doesn't matter how good it is or how bad it is. Like, these penalties are really what kill you. And I feel like that's been a big issue with them. And also, like you said, 0 takeaways in 5 games. Like, they're on pace to be historically bad. Like, everyone was shitting on the Cowboys defense. I mean, hey, if you have like any guy that you're like debating playing, if they're going against the Jets, throw them fucking in. I mean, offenses are putting up 30 points every single week. It's insane. I mean, teams like the Steelers are putting up 30 points on us.
I know.
The Bills obviously have a legit offense, and like the Cowboys have a pretty good offense as well. But even the Dolphins put up 27 and the Bucks put up 29. Like the best defensive game was allowing 27 points to the Buccaneers, who had no Mike Evans, no Chris Godwin, and a very, very banged up offensive line. And that is your best, or I'm sorry, that was 29. The Dolphins, the 1-4 Dolphins, your best defensive performance, where Tyreek left early, and you let Darren Waller, who came out of fucking retirement, catch 2 touchdowns on you. 2 touchdowns. So yeah, I mean, this is probably the worst defense in the league. I'm already like totally out on the season. I mean, I hate that I agreed to go to the Jets-Ravens game and down in Baltimore. I mean, I guess it might be fun because both teams may be out of the playoffs. I'm sure I still think the Ravens figure it out, or at least that game will matter to them. But we get to lose in London to the Broncos.
So are you saying that I should have a Bronco and Big Dogs parlay next week?
You should. It's just tough with that team because there's so many. Like,
It's
maybe
like,
Portland,
I don't
Sutton.
want to go Sutton, but like he's going to draw Sauce. Sauce did let up a touchdown to Pickens, but it's
Sauce
still
has been taking out the number 1 options a lot, but like And then it seems like when it does get to the red zone, like if the guy's about to catch it, he just gets a dumb PI or something and they don't catch it. So I don't know.
Maybe
I don't know if I
J.K.
go.
Dobbins.
Yeah, you'd probably be better off with Dobbins, to be honest.
A little cheeky. All right, man. It's 35 minutes in the pod, and we haven't gotten into any games. So maybe
All
we
right,
should.
we have 3 less to get into, so that gives us the flexibility to do that with those amazing questions we had today. Well, let's
Yeah, the
do it, man.
questions are fun, and we do touch on a lot of talking points for these games as well. I mean, they are the best. But let's start with Thursday Night Football. The Niners
All right,
improved.
we got to update them on the record quick.
Oh, that's right. My bad, guys. My bad. We got to update on the record. So for the picks this week, Reagan continuing a hot stretch, man. 9-4 against the spread. You're now 43-34. I think that's the highest winning percentage you've had at any point. That's a very good start to the season for you.
Yeah, let's keep it going.
7-6 on the money line. You are now 45-31-1 on the money line. I went 7-6 against the spread. 37-40. 6 games back of you. That is not ideal at all. And then I'm 6-7 on the money line. I'm 44-32-1. Only one back from you, so not bad. Then Dan the Man went 7-6 against the spread, 5-8 in the money line, stepping in for me. Appreciate it very much, Dan. You are, in fact, the man. Now moving to the Felt 5. It was a pretty good week for the boys. I'm the only one in the negative, but it's only 0.36 units, so we'll call that even, right, guys? We round down here. Reagan up 728 units. That a boy. Brees Hall 100 rushing yards at plus 432.
That's the best part, bro.
Really saved you.
Only one, bro. Only one. I mean, Rattler to me should have hit. It just sucked that those 88-yard fumble return touchdown really hurts because then not only did the Giants waste all that time, but then they go right back on offense, and the Saints ended up not needing to throw the ball a lot in the second half because I think he had like 170 or 180 at halftime. Granted, a 90-yard touchdown to Shaheed does wonders, but I feel like I got cheated there. And like Tet had like 73 at halftime and didn't have a catch in the second half. So I feel like I really could have done more damage this week. And Chase Brown, I just got to, he just sucks. And then Bowers obviously didn't play. But hey, it's funny to go up 7.28 units and only hit one play.
I know. I went down 0.36. I hit 3 of my 5, but I missed the 5 unit and the 4 unit, which sucked. But
well, you guys don't really go big game hunting like I do.
Oh, you say that like I didn't hit Jackson Dart anytime touchdown at plus 350 with my 5 unit last week.
That's true.
But it was the one time I went big game hunting. Like, I don't know. I took JSN 100 at plus 188. Like, that's not big game hunting, but that's a good medium-sized fish you're pulling in the boat there.
Well, I'm just saying I don't actually, like, all of my plays were over plus 300 this week.
That is crazy. Garrett went up 4.66. That's solid. Good for G. Zach went up 5.95 and Drock 1.2. So I'm not going to lie. If you've been taking every Felt 5, you'd be up a good chunk of change thus far. That's why you listen to us, man. Why put all that research in? You can just listen to us. We'll do it for you.
Yeah, you'd be up about a little over 30 units.
Wow. Really
basically good. Because of Zach and Dave, but that's all right, though.
All right, let's get into the game here. Niners improved to 4-1, 26-23 win on the road over the division rival Rams, who now sit at 3-2. I mean, who would have thought it was a total gunslinger battle between Mac Jones and Matthew Stafford? Jones 342 and 2 tutties, Stafford 389 and 3 tutties. I mean, what a game here. McCaffrey again struggled on the ground. He's actually 30th in fantasy points from just rushing production this year, but it doesn't matter because he had 8 catches for 82 yards and a touchdown. It doesn't matter. The guy is probably way up there in the receiving yards leaderboard right now. I mean, holy shit. He's an animal. And then you got Kendrick Bourne, 10 for 142, stepping in. I mean, it doesn't matter. They're out. They're without their top 3 receivers, and George Kittle and the Niners still go on the road and get a win. I mean, tip of the cap to Mac Jones and Kyle Shanahan. I mean, what a fucking win here, man. And for the Rams,
he's 6th right now in receiving yards.
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. For the Rams, it's like, Puka Nacua has another monster game, 10 for 85, a touchdown. Devontae, 88, another really good game. Kyron Williams really was the stud here, really getting used as a receiver. Definitely the best receiving game of his career, 8 for 66 and 2 touchdowns. Had 14 for 65 in the ground. It's crazy. It's only 26-23. You look at this box score and you're like, how is this not a 40-35 game? But hey, that's how it fell here. What a game.
I love this game. First off, all those people in the comments saying Mac Jones couldn't get 250 passing yards. Well, he smashed that. They were all like, "Oh, he can't do it without any wide receivers." I'm like, "Yes, he can." Mac Jones looks great. This was actually a fun game for me to watch. It's the first time I think I've ever won my fantasy matchup on a Thursday night. I
Yeah.
don't think many people have ever done that before or can say they've done that before. But I had, in my dynasty team, it's very stacked. It is a 12-man league, but somebody's gonna be like, "What the hell? Like, how do you get that team?" But I have McCaffrey and Kyron, and then I also have Puka, Devontae Adams, and then I plugged in Jake Tongs, the fourth Tong brother, who was subbing in for George Kittle. So it's a full point PPR league, and between Kyron and McCaffrey both having 8 catches each, that obviously helps a lot. But I have 114 points with only half my lineup played on a Thursday night, so I'm like already talking shit to the baby Tong. I played their little brother Jared, and I'm like, poor kid, like he's waking up Friday morning and is like, well, looks like I'm looking forward to fantasy for next Sunday. Like he didn't even get to Sunday and actually enjoy his fantasy football matchup because it was already over. And I think he ended up putting up the second most points in the league too. I'm like, that just sucks.
Yeah, dude, that's actually nuts. Now, one thing I want to bring up on this game, Dan Orlovsky mentioned like 2 years ago, he's like, I think you put Mac Jones in the Niners and you have the same exact production as Brock Purdy. And everyone on Get Up was clowning his ass. Like, you're disrespecting Brock Purdy, yada, yada, yada. Well, what we've seen this year, what are your thoughts on that statement from Dan Orlovsky? Is it unrealistic to think that Mac Jones could lead this team to a playoff berth and potentially deep in the playoffs?
I don't want to like overreact yet, but because he wasn't great even on the Jaguars last year when he subbed in.
He's better than T-Law in terms of receiver production for sure, but
Yeah, but
you
I
could
mean, he
argue
still
he's
had
better than
8.
T-Law.
He had 8 touchdowns and 8 interceptions last year, so it wasn't like he's been like a Jameis Winston type most of his career, where a lot of touchdowns but a lot of interceptions, can definitely throw
Yeah.
the ball around. But yeah, through 3 games, he's been great, averaging over 300 yards a game, 6 touchdowns to 1 interception, and even, adding a little bit through his legs, not a ton, but, has been able to pick up some first downs. I still think it's a little crazy. Like, I think Purdy adds more with his legs. Mac Jones, like I just gave him a little bit of credit, but doesn't have the mobility that Purdy has. And also, it's a small sample size. It's 3 games, but he's definitely proven that he's competent. He's definitely proven that, whether or not he keeps a job, which I don't think is likely at all. I think they may now wait another week. It's possible with Purdy, like until he's 100% ready to go. But he's definitely proven that some team probably will try to give him the opportunity to at least compete for a job next year, because we've seen plenty of quarterbacks, Geno Smith, Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, revive their careers and stop, for Baker and Darnold, it was stop number 4. So definitely possible.
I think the fact he put up that production on the road at a great team like the Rams without his top weapons, I mean, just a hell of a game from Mac Jones. I'm not a big Mac Jones fan, but you got to just tip the cap to that.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on, man. To London, the Vikings get a win against the Browns, 21-17, improved to 3-2. Cleveland to 1-4. It was not the prettiest performance from Minnesota, but hey, they got it done. Led by Carson Wentz yet again. Perhaps JJ McCarthy's back in week 6, but Wentz stuck it in there, got a win, 236, a touchdown. No interceptions, didn't turn the ball over. The only fumble came from Xavier Scott and Jordan Mason, the running backs. Made it a little dicey there. Mason had a touchdown. Jefferson, of course, 7 for 123, just doing Jefferson things. Addison, not monster in terms of yardage, but he does what he does. He scores touchdowns. He had another touchdown in this game. For the Browns, we touched on Quinshon Judkins earlier. What an absolute stud. 23 for 110. Also added an 18-yard reception. Would love to see him get more involved in the receiving game, Reagan. I'm sure you agree with me in that regard. But
Yeah.
Dylan Gabriel. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. I'm really happy. He was one of my highest owned players in my best ball, so I've been really happy with that. I would like to, but we'll see. It's when you would have thought he would have been a little bit more involved with just how immobile Joe Flacco is, but I don't know. But anyway,
yeah. So Gabriel 192 touchdowns. You know what, man? He took care of the ball. It wasn't pretty, but he found his tight ends. Njoku 6 for 67 and a touchdown. Harold Fannin, 4 receptions for 13 and a touchdown. But, he's had some bigger games for sure. But just the fact that he's getting that involved when he still has Njoku in the picture, I think is a really good sign for him long-term in Dynasty. Absolutely. But, hey,
Yeah.
Browns came up just a little short here. I thought they were going to get the win, to be honest with you. Maybe if that stupid holding didn't get called, Judkins could have taken him to the promised land and a win in London. But
one more thing I'll say, and it doesn't really matter for redraft leagues, but Isaiah Bond, 7 targets in this one, only 2 catches. But if he's in your dynasty leagues, definitely scoop him up because he's heavily involved. But also, for the majority when he was there, at least in the beginning, like these were the guys getting the reps together. Like Isaiah Bond wasn't getting the first team reps. Dylan Gabriel was not getting the first team reps. So I think they already have the established pedigree. That's why you see Fanning has been heavily targeted and stuff because they have the established pedigree. So I just think it's something where you got to pick him up if he's in your dynasty leagues.
Yeah, dude, that's a great call. And outside of Jerry Jeudy, like look at that receiver room with Cedric Tillman in the IR. They need a lot of help at that position. Even with Tillman in the picture, they need a lot of help at that position. So Bond has a different skill set. I like Bond a lot for sure. I got him stashed on one of my taxi slots.
But,
all right.
Yeah, that's all I really have on that one.
Let's move on, man. I got to get this one out of the way. The Giants lose to the Saints 26-14. They started up 14-3, and then the wheels just fell off. Dart threw 2 interceptions. Yeah, and they weren't really that bad. One was chucking the ball downfield. The other one, Bo Collins, the rookie, just stopped his route. And, it got picked. That sucked. He also had a bad fumble. So 3 turnovers. Not ideal when you add in Slayton's terrible fumble after a big play and Scatterboo fumbling and the Saints scooping and scoring. To be honest, you're not going to win a football game losing the turnover battle 5-0 here. For the Saints, Rattler, he did what he had to do. Talk about you want to target people in fantasy football and matchups. Target this Giants secondary because it is god-awful. Tyler Nubin is not getting it done the back end. Rashid Shaheed absolutely cooked him for an 87-yard touchdown and a 114-yard performance. Outside of that, man, the Saints offense didn't really do a ton. Like, Olave, another 7 receptions, but only 59 yards. Like, clearly he's that security blanket. He sets a high floor for you in fantasy, for sure, but just not that high of a ceiling. And, Alvin Kamara didn't really do much against the Giants' run defense that has been struggling. It was actually Kendre Miller that got more carries than Kamara.
Yeah, that's concerning.
Yeah, right?
But that's why, we were saying don't take Kamara in fantasy. We didn't know how it was going to look. I mean, what I do know right now on the Saints side of things, it looks like Rattler is going to keep the job for a while. Like, I haven't heard any reports that, Shuck is, even close to trying to take over that job. And honestly, like, Rattler's been fine. Like, he hasn't been great, but I mean, still 6 touchdowns to 1 interception. Like, it's not terrible numbers. Like,
no, it's not. But it's just like, he's not the long-term answer, though. And it's
I know. You might as well.
But you got to play Shuck.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest here. The Saints are going to be picking top 10, probably top 5, likely top 3. Likely top 3, right? So they're probably going to go with the quarterback. And if you just burned a 2nd-round pick, like that's premier draft capital, dude, on a quarterback, and he's not even going to get a shot.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just malpractice, in my opinion. You got to give the kid a shot at some point. I know Rattler got this win here. Good for him. And it's his first career win. Don't let that muddy the waters here. The Giants aren't a good team right now. You know what I mean?
Hey,
like,
let the guy sell for him, though. Let him celebrate. But also Kamara, like, I think they might trade him at the deadline. On the Giants side of things, for me, like, I was still impressed with Dart. Obviously the interceptions are going to happen. He's a rookie. It's just part of the growing pains. 3 turnovers, but hey, still 2 touchdowns, a lot on the ground with his legs as well. I will say, I mean, not a whole lot to be excited with all these pass catching options. Like, there really wasn't enough clarity here. Like, and Bellinger and Theo Johnson were like both involved. I mean, I guess Theo Johnson did get the 2 touchdowns, but even then, like, both tight end options, they're both involved, but like they're both touchdown dependent. So, right now, I guess Wandell's the only one you could play. And even then it's like, do you really want to? Like, for me, I'm only taking Scatterboo. And if Dart continues to play his legs, like, yeah, I think you can stream him in some matchups. Cause like, if you played him in this matchup, like, he had a fine game, for fantasy.
Yeah, he still got me 18 fantasy points, which is
that's what I mean.
Yeah,
fine.
like, with
adding
the legs.
50 yards on the ground definitely helps. So, and I'd imagine they're going to be in a lot of games where there's garbage time work and these prevent defense where he can pick up some yards with his legs and his arms. So, But
yeah, I walked out of this game thinking the Giants have the worst receiver core in football for the rest of the season. Like that's what I'm thinking right now.
I don't even think you needed to watch this game to know that. Like I already knew that prior to that game. I don't know. I'm kind of surprised that like how you didn't know that already. Like,
well, we talked about it last week. We did say, yeah, probably.
Like, who was
but
worse?
Now I'm like, no, yeah, absolutely. Like,
yeah, I mean, I don't think like not like what like Wan'Dale Robinson is like. You're happy with him as your wide receiver 2. Like you're not even thrilled about him being your wide receiver 2.
No, he's
to be
a
honest.
3. He's a 3 on our good team.
Like if Garrett Wilson misses any time, yeah, the Jets are probably worse or same tier, but no, definitely worse actually. Yeah, definitely worse. But like outside of that, there's not many teams. Like I guess the Panthers if fucking Tet goes down, but like at least any other core in the league has a healthy guy right now that you can point to that's like, yeah, him alone is better than that.
Imagine having like an Emeka Ibuka as your number 2. That'd be great.
Yeah,
It's malpractice. Young quarterback
over Dart.
With this wide receiver core. It's absolutely terrible. All right, let's move on, man.
Over Dart.
All right, let's move on here, man. The Colts
have gotten him.
The Colts 40-6. Dominate I don't want to talk about the Giants anymore, dude. I'm very upset.
I'm imagining Emeka Ibuka, but I'm like, they didn't have it. Like, they're not going to just keep trading in and getting all these first.
No, I wasn't saying the Giants should have drafted Emeka Ibuka. I'm saying imagine like the luxury of having that as your wide receiver 2 step in and just go like completely nuclear. It's like, it's just a very nice luxury to have. That was my point. Not that the Giants should have drafted.
I was like, over Dart.
No. All right, moving on here. The Colts destroy the Raiders 40-6. They're 4-1. The Raiders are 1-4. The Raiders are a very bad football team. You could have looked at this roster before the season and be like, yeah, it's going to be a bad football team. But, hey, Pete Carroll, Geno Smith, Bro, Geno Smith, how many goddamn interceptions does he have this year?
9.
I think it's like 9.
Yeah.
228, 0 touchdowns, 2 picks. I get it. No Brock Bowers in this one. It's not an excuse for how bad he's played this season, how this Geno experiment, trading for him and giving him that money was absolutely stupid for a team that needed to rebuild, right? You can't just rush it and bring in a veteran quarterback if you're going to start winning games like that. I don't know. This team at its infrastructure is very bad. They've used their premium draft capital, although on phenomenal players, Genty and Bowers at non-premium positions, and you're starting to see what's happening with this team. Genty, okay day, 14 for 67, really 5 for 42 through the air. So, saved you a little bit in fantasy there. Nothing to write home about other than that for the Raiders. Like for the Colts, I mean, Daniel Jones, 212, 2 touchdowns, just doing what he needs to do. Jonathan Taylor, 3 touchdowns. I mean, what an absolute freak. What a season he is having. And then you look at the receiving side, Tyler Warren got one in, Michael Pittman got one in. I mean, just a total ass beating here. I don't know if we have to spend too much time on this, but I guess
Jonathan Taylor an apology, buddy.
I do. You know what? I said don't draft Jonathan Taylor, and the guy's a fucking animal. He's a fucking
I'm pretty sure he's
animal.
He's at least number one fantasy running back.
I said that because of injury, though, not his talent. That's how I'm going to save my skin here because, the dude is an animal.
Well, he is an animal, but I will say, I mean, if Anthony Richardson was the starting quarterback right now, he wouldn't even be close to this. Or maybe the rushing numbers would be there, but he would not have 7 touchdowns on the season if Anthony Richardson was the quarterback. So I will give you that aspect. But Tyler Warren's a beast. Also, like one quick thing on the Raiders, like they didn't even have a young quarterback. So like I think we're going to see Geno all 17. I mean, I guess if he continues to play this bad, maybe they switch to Kenny Pickett, but I don't know. Like, will they switch to Kenny Pickett? I mean, they got to draft someone next year. I mean, unless Geno has an all-time turnaround, which doesn't look likely at this point.
Dude, that's not happening,
But hey, Damian Lillard said they should trade for Shedeur, so it's okay.
Oh, it's okay. That's definitely going to happen, right? That's why they passed. That's why Tom Brady passed on him that many times.
No, but I'm just saying, like, bring in Shedeur. Yeah, I'm sure he'll do better. Like, nobody's going to do good in this system anyway with how, I don't know. No, Bowers doesn't help either, but not that it would have mattered a ton. But
yeah, his knee injury is a concern, huh?
Yeah, he's going to miss multiple weeks. So I know Michael Mayer missed this game, but assuming he's back next week, definitely a guy I would pick up.
Yeah, they think very highly of Michael Mayer. So I know Pete Carroll said he thinks they have 2 number 1 tight ends. They also took him in the second round. So that's what happens when you take a tight end in the second round and the first round in back-to-back drafts. You have a team like this. I'm just saying. All right, man, let's move on. Get this one out of the way for you. The Jets lose 37-22 to the Cowboys at home. The Jets are now 0-5 and 0-3 at home. Not ideal. The Cowboys improved to 2-1. Dak, 237, 4 tutties, no CD. No problem, because Ryan Flournoy goes for 6 and 114. Did you have that in your bingo card, Reagan, going into this game?
No.
I certainly did it. Sauce did a pretty good job against Pickens. He only had 2 for 57, but that 43-yard touchdown looms large today. And then Jake Ferguson, 2 touchdowns and a great game for him. That's the Ferguson that we've been expecting to see the past 2 seasons. There we go. For the Jets, I'm sorry, but if I see that Justin Fields had to throw the ball 46 times, I know they lost that game, because Justin Fields should not be throwing the ball 46 times. He did convert 32 of them, threw for 283 and 2 touchdowns, so it worked out pretty well, but he also got sacked 5 times against the Dallas pass rush that has been very bad this season, so that's not ideal. Breece Hall going for over 100 yards. Awesome for him. Garrett Wilson, 6 for 71 and a touchdown. Breece Hall also added 42 on 4 receptions, so monster game for him with no Braylon Allen. I guess that's kind of the silver lining here, for me at least, to have him in fantasy football. And you know what, man? Mason Taylor, not this is any surprise. He's certainly becoming that number 2 weapon in that offense. 9 receptions for 67 yards on 12 targets. He seems like a guy that, you should pick him up in fantasy football.
Must pick up at the
Who else is getting the ball here? Who else is getting the ball?
Yeah, and what tight ends are you? What tight ends are out that they're getting 12 targets in a game? That's like McBride Bowers type of volume. Like, that is rare to find. And if he's on your waivers, like, you got to pick him up, because it's going to be that game script a lot. But also historically, Fields loves his tight end. They're building a big relationship. And, if I'm the opposing team, like, hey, let Mason Taylor beat me. I ain't letting Garrett Wilson beat me. So I think touchdowns are going to start coming too for Taylor.
Absolutely, man. Anything else you want to touch on in that game, or would you like to move on from that ass beating?
No, I don't think you could take much away from this either if you're a Cowboys fan. Like, for the Cowboys, like, yeah, the offense looked good, but I still think the defense is trash. I just think, like, the Jets are just, probably the worst team in football, or, if you want to say that. I mean, yeah, they haven't won a game, but granted, like, I think some people would still probably say the Titans are worse, but I don't really care.
Hey, you're sitting here on this Monday with the number 1 overall pick, Reagan. Who are you taking?
Yeah, I don't even know. I was thinking about that. Like, that's the thing that sucks. And I don't even know if I want that. Like, honestly, Garrett was like, oh, this is great. I'm like, do you really want that? Like, I'd rather let one of these other teams pick 1 and fuck it up, and we could sit at 2 or 3 and maybe work out. I don't know. No matter what, the fuck it up.
You have no faith in your front office to have the number 1 overall pick. You have any player you want coming out of college. You have no faith that you want someone else to fuck it up first, so you could just sit there and be like, all right, well, they took Lenora Sellers 1, so we got to take.
Is that how you would take one? Like, I don't even.
Well, he's hurt right now. He's hurt right now, but there was a poll 2 weeks ago of a bunch of scouts and front office personnel, and Lenora Sellers was kind of the overwhelming top quarterback.
He would be fun to have. I mean, he's a physical freak, but Mendoza kind of came out of nowhere.
I know. He's on that, like, Cam Ward trajectory right now. I tell you what, Dante Moore out of Oregon, too. He's on that trajectory like Cam Ward as well. Keep an eye out for Dante Moore. Also a very highly touted recruit. So
my Heisman pick eventually. We'll widow a year, and we'll take Marcel Reed out of Texas A&M.
Sounds good. All right, let's move on here. The Broncos go on the road and get a win over Philadelphia, 21-17. They improved to 3-2. Philadelphia drops to 4-1. We highlighted this game earlier as, hey, this is a team that could go on a big winning streak now with a win like this on the road, the defending Super Bowl champions. What a game. Bo Nix took care of the football. That is a big thing for him. 242 and a touchdown. Finding his main man, Cortland Sutton, 8 for 99, who outside of a dud of a week 2 game has been an absolute animal this season. I think he's a must start right now, given the other options on this offense. I know Evan Ingram finally got in the end zone. That's good to see for him, but like, Cortland Sutton got 10 targets. The next highest targeted guy was Ingram at 6. So clearly that trend is going to continue here. Dobbins, 20 carries for 79 yards and a touchdown. Harvey only getting 4 touches. Not ideal if you're a Harvey holder, for sure, because as long as his team's winning games and Dobbins playing like this, I mean, it's going to be his job to lose for sure. For Philadelphia, Hurts, pretty good through the air considering his opponent, 280 and 2 touchdowns. He did get sacked 6 times, however. got to tip the caps to that Denver Broncos front, which led the league in sacks and pressures last year. Nick Bonito, 2.5. I mean, just continuing.
Yeah, 7 already this year.
Blossoming, dude. I mean, he's an absolute freak. Barkley only had 6 carries for 30 yards. Not a recipe for Philadelphia to win
Yeah,
football
and some
games,
came
buddy.
out that he's got some knee thing going on. But also when you have such depth, like you can make the case that they have the best running back room in the league right now. I mean, you still got Will Shipley, you got A.J. Dillon, and you trade for Tank Bigsby. So, like, I think
Is
they're
it
going to
not
be...
Gibbs and Montgomery?
No, I mean in terms of, like, depth. Like,
Is
the fact that
Montgomery not depth?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's just nice to have, like, 3 other guys in the wings where it's like you can turn to them, and it's like look at the Chargers right now. Like, they're turning their 3rd and 4 guy are turning to, like, Videll and Haskins, who are unproven. Like, it's pretty rare that you've seen all these. I mean, I guess Shipley's unproven. I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong here. I'm going to walk that one back. But what I will say is, what I will say is here, this is a great game. For me, Broncos were my Super Bowl team. The defense obviously looks insane here. They're doing it without even, like, Greenlaw's not even playing yet. So that's the thing too. Like, they're going to even get better as the season progresses. The offense looked good. Bo Nix looked good. I mean, Dobbins is a beast. I'd still like to see Harvey get more involved. But damn, what an upset win. For Philadelphia, I mean, I still wouldn't worry too much. But weird for them
fine.
too.
At least Barkley scored through the air too, and at least Devontae Smith 8 for 114 is good to see.
Yeah, just a weird game for the Eagles.
Now, question for you, Reagan. Eagles scored 17 points. It's their worst offensive performance in a long time. There was a lot of talk last week about how not just A.J. Brown, but also Devontae Smith, they're both frustrated with their roles, particularly in the red zone, not being involved despite them winning games. And then you turn around the next week and Devontae Smith, 10 targets, although 8 for 114 is great. A.J. Brown, 8 targets, 5 for 43. They switched up their game plan a little bit. Only ran the ball Barkley 6 times, and they lose. They only score 17 points. So would it shock you if they move one of these wide receivers or like, fuck this, let's save the money? We know the recipe to win games, because when they went away from that recipe, they lost.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good question. I don't know. It's hard to say, like, do you give into it and move one of them, or are you like, hey, like, we're in our Super Bowl window, like, we don't need any picks? Because, like, yeah, I would imagine both of them would fetch a 1st-round pick right now, right?
Probably. I would say so.
Like, so.
Yeah.
I don't know. Definitely a weird spot they're in, but, like, at the end of the day, winning Super Bowls is the name of the game. So let them cry. Let them cry, I guess.
Let them cry, man. All right, let's move on. We got to talk about your Carolina Panthers, brother. What a comeback win. 27-24 over the Dolphins. They improved to 2-3. The Dolphins 1-4. I'm not sure if you saw the video of Mike McDaniel walking down the tunnel after that loss. Man,
I did not.
He looked like a defeated man, dude. He looked like a defeated man. Like he's feeling the pressure. And that's what will happen when you lose to a team like Carolina and you lose it in that fashion. Despite Tua Tagovailoa throwing for 256 and 3 touchdowns, Waddle going off, Waller going off, and Achane punching one in, but he didn't do shit on the ground, 10 for 16. God damn it, that Miami offensive line is so bad. They can't open up a single running lane for a guy that runs a 4.3. It's unbelievable. I think he's definitely gone. I think he's definitely gone after the season. The question for me is, does he survive the season?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny how this goes, because, like, last week it's like, can they get to 2-3, easy spot? And then it's like, maybe he will keep his job. Now they lose, and it's like, who cares? It was the Jets. They beat the worst team in the league, and, this team sucks. I will say, I mean, like, Waddle going forward, like, Waddle could have a massive season. Now that Tyreek's gone, like, he's going to really blossom. So if you are a Waddle fantasy owner, like, you got to be excited after this. From the Panthers side of things, I mean, like, weird team. I mean, they go from beating the Falcons 30-0, then they get waxed by the Patriots, and it's like, damn, like, they're getting waxed by the Dolphins and come back. I mean, we've seen this team. They honestly might be the weirdest team in the NFL, because we've seen this team blow out teams. We've seen this team get blown out. Then we've also seen this team now twice get blown out going into halftime and then have heroic comebacks. This time they actually get it done. But, going back to week 2 against the Cardinals, they almost got it done too. So they're a very weird team. But at the end of the day, they're 2-3. They got Dallas next week in a very winnable game at home. So
Rico Dowdle revenge game. He said Dallas better buckle up after he's went for 206 and a tutty on the ground.
I mean, dude, like, who would have had that on their bingo card? Rico Dowdle to be the
Charlie
first
Eberle. He picked him up and started him.
Well, no, he didn't pick him up. I traded him last year when he needed guys, and I was like, look, it's a starting running back for the Cowboys. And then coming into the year, it was like, this guy's not usable. But now, hey, I'm kind of pissed at myself. What I will say is, though, you got to give him some credit. You have to give him
53-yard touchdown, and I go, yo, Chuck, Rico Dowdle just scored. He goes, is he on my team? I'm like, dude, you started him. He's like, let's go. And I'm like, dude, come on. The guy goes for 206 on the ground, and he got no idea.
Also, you got to give him credit because there's been times where I've been like, hyping up the Panthers and saying, hey, they got a nice 1-2 punch with Rico Dowdle. And you're like, come on, Rico Dowdle. Rico Dowdle's got a chance to go back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons right now. I mean, hey.
Yeah, he's a fifth of the way there just in one game.
Yeah, he's at 289 on the season right now, so watch out. 5.7 a carry. The only downside is, I guess, I would imagine this probably kills both of them because when Chuba comes back, it's going to be a timeshare.
Yeah.
There's no way in hell that Rico Dowdle goes for 200 and this doesn't become a timeshare. Like, it's pretty clear he's got juice, so I think there's going to be a 50-50 split now. In an offense that isn't amazing, so
you also be concerned about that defense too a little bit, where they might have to throw the ball a lot more, and it's like if they're in a timeshare, is he getting more than a dozen carries a game? I don't know.
The thing is, though, the Panthers are actually kind of good at running the ball too. Like they're averaging, all their back. Like even ETN's averaging 4.9 a carry, Hubbard's 4.1 a carry, and Dowdle's 5.7. Like the team's averaging 4.8 a carry. Like that's pretty freaking good.
It is pretty
so maybe
good.
that's the recipe for them. Run the ball.
All right, man, let's move on here. The Texans just blow the brakes off a Cooper Rush-led Ravens team, 44-10. Houston's 2-3. The Ravens 1-4. Hand up. I had the Ravens at 14-3. That is gone. They mathematically cannot do that. It is mathematically not possible. I didn't realize they would lose 3 of the first 4, and then Lamar would get hurt, and they'd get blown out.
Well, in fairness, even if Lamar didn't get hurt, that wasn't hitting. They were not going to go 14-0 even with Lamar.
Yeah, no, they weren't. They absolutely weren't.
So
my bad for banking on a fucking team that has been so good in the regular season the past 5 years. That's on me. But hey, Cooper Rush, 3 picks, 179 yards. It's not going to get done. Derrick Henry, 15 for 33 yards, and at least he got a touchdown to save his fantasy day. It's not going to get it done. How concerned are you with Derrick Henry? Is it panic button time?
No, because when Lamar comes back, like it's fine. I mean, I kind of expected it. Like you have to play Derrick Henry, but I knew this was going to happen. Like, why would you not just stack the box and be like, hey, Cooper Rush, you can beat us. Like, you could beat our good defense. Like, of course, that was the game plan all along. Like, of course, if the Ravens have it in their world, like, yeah, like this quarterback who's not good that's subbing in for, Lamar Jackson, like, let's try to take some weight off his shoulders and run the ball. Of course, they're going to try to establish the run. So, of course, that's what the Texans take out. And shocker, that's what happened. So one thing I will say is I was wrong. The Ravens defense actually is trash. I was, had some thoughts that maybe, just maybe it was because they went against some elite teams, but even some of the worst offenses like the Houston Texans can go off. And CJ Stroud can even return to rookie year CJ Stroud. I mean, the 4 touchdowns, Nick Chubb even got one on the ground. Like Christian Kirk was getting involved. Dalton Schultz was getting involved. Nico Collins, like everybody was getting involved. So
Xavier Hutchinson 2 tutties, like
just an ass beating.
Crazy, man. So back to the Derrick Henry point. He has 1 game where he finished above RB 25 out of 5 weeks. I know it was a tough schedule to start. You're not even the slightest concerned. I'm a little concerned, man. I'm a little concerned.
I don't know. It's tough because, like I said, I mean, if Lamar's there, it's a high-powered offense. Like, yeah, it's always concerning if they're trailing. So, like, yeah, I mean, next week I would be so nervous.
They got the Rams, and then a bye, right? So Lamar's out next week. They got a bye. That's clearly intentional. But do you play Derrick Henry against the Rams next week? It sounds weird putting the name Derrick Henry in your bench, but if you have other options, I don't know, man. I don't think it's that crazy.
Yeah. No, that's true. That's true.
All right, moving on here. The Titans in dramatic fashion, come back to beat the Cardinals 22-21. It took a lot of things to happen here. It took a Cam Ward pick that got fumbled and then kicked into the end zone and recovered by Tennessee for a touchdown. It took Amari DiMercato with a 71-yard run, sticking the ball out and dropping it before the goal line, which became a touchback. But hey, doesn't matter, man. All that matters is the win. Cam Ward, 265, that one pick. Pollard punched one in for a touchdown. That is the only offensive touchdown the Tennessee Titans scored in this game, and they won 22-21. For Arizona, Murray threw for 220. No touchdowns, no picks. I mean, I thought that Marvin Harrison 43-yard catch was a touchdown. I was pretty excited there, but no, he was down at the 1, so Michael Carter punched it in. But hey, Marv 4 for 98. Pretty good game for him. Outside of that, man, not a lot going on here. You lost 3 fumbles, one by Murray, one by the mentioned DiMercato, and then I guess the defender counts as a fumble as well. 3 turnovers, not going to get it done, man. Just a pathetic performance from Arizona, especially at home, dude. That's a game you got to win. And I was concerned about Arizona when they beat the Saints and the Panthers. I was like, they're not battle tested yet. And they lost a game like this to Tennessee, dude. I'm out on Arizona this year. They might finish with 7 wins, beat some bad teams, but I don't think they're a legitimate threat at all.
I was kind of out after the Seattle game. Like that game, while they lost by 3 points or whatever it ended up being, like their offense is terrible. I mean, Trey McBride has taken a major step back, which I don't know if it's a Kyler thing or a him thing, but like if you took him in the 2nd to 3rd round, like you're not happy with it. He has 29 catches and 275 yards, 1 touchdown in 5 weeks. Like last year at that point, I think he was pushing like 40 something catches. So the volume hasn't been there catch wise. Like I will say, like Michael Carter is the back to have, 18 of the 25 running back carries. And DiMercato probably just fucked himself even more, where if he scores that, then you're a little worried. Now you're like, oh shit, like I'm not worried at all. So Michael Carter is a must pick off purely off of the volume, or a must pick up. Like you get a starting running back for the next 3 weeks. Like I wouldn't go too crazy with the fab because like Trey Benson will be back eventually. So even if Michael Carter hangs around, you probably don't want to start him at that point, but still, if he's on your waivers, like that's a free flex for the next 3 weeks, especially with all the bye weeks going on. On the Titans side of things, I mean, one big takeaway for me is like Calvin Ridley, 5 for 131. So that's very, very nice to see that he had almost half of his yards on the season in one game. Still wouldn't be confident about starting him at all because, prior to that, he had 2 for 30, 1 for 27, 3 for 57, and 4 for 27. So maybe if you have him, try selling high on it. But outside of that, not a whole lot of takeaways. Like weird win, weird game. Cardinals suck, Titans suck. Fade them both.
Yep, they both suck. Let's move on to a really fun game. The Bucs 38-35, an absolute shootout over the Seahawks. Bucs get it done on the road, man. 4-1, 3-0 on the road. That's a great sign for them this season, because if they're playing that well on the road right now, you expect them to play just as well at home. Baker, 379 and 2 touchdowns. Only got sacked 1 time in this game. Rachaad White punched 2 touchdowns in average slightly over 3 yards per carry, so it wasn't necessarily great in that regard, which we've talked about how many times this podcast, how inefficient he is on the ground. But, in this offense, you're going to have touchdown opportunities, which saves him in fantasy football. Then Emeka Egbuka, 7 for 163 and a touchdown on 7 targets. That's about as perfect as it gets for a wide receiver. Love to see Cade Otton getting involved finally, 4 for 81. And hey, a guy that you've shouted out in this pod a few times, Tez Johnson, 4 for 59, getting involved as well, making some plays, making some guys miss in open field. Really like to see that different element added to the offense here. I got to shout out my guy, Sterling Shepard, touchdown in this one. Still getting it done, man. Shout out Shep. We tore it up on the blackjack tables in the Bahamas. It was great. For the Seahawks, Sam Darnold, 341, 4 touchdowns and a pick. I mean, that's a really good performance from him. I'm surprised Kenneth Walker did as well as he did on the ground against this Bucs run defense, 10 for 86. Of course, Charbonnet snaked the touchdown, though.
Yeah, it's like
he had 9 for 36. Bad spot, automatic
backfield, bro.
Automatic.
Because a lot of people probably have both, and like they're both like borderline flex plays. They just hurt each other. Because while Walker's been more efficient, like Charbonnet has been getting the touchdown looks in the goal line. So it's like gross because you're like, you got 2 guys that are like fighting or right around the double-digit line, and you're not like happy about it.
I know. Technically, Charbonnet outscored Walker in fantasy with his one catch, 12 yards, and the 36 in the ground and the touchdown over
That's
Walker.
what I mean. Like,
it was
it
much better. It sucks,
well, that was my
man.
biggest reason. It wasn't like I don't like Kenneth Walker. It's just I thought it would be a timeshare, which it's a 50-50 timeshare. And like, it's not like while the team offense has been better than I expected, it's still not like the prettiest of offenses. Like, I'm not like excited about watching the Seattle Seahawks and being like, yeah, this is going to be an offensive showdown, which it ended up being. But still, I don't know.
And we got to give our flowers to JSN, 8 for 132 and a touchdown. I mean, he looks like one of the best receivers in football now, man. I mean, it's a Shane Waldron effect. This guy is just an absolute stud now. You love to see it. And you know what? You love to see it with Geno Smith last year and Sam Darnold this year. Getting it done with different guys at the helm. Awesome to see. Cooper Kupp was all right, 6 for 59. You know, AJ Barner, 2 touchdowns. You started him at tight end. I would love to see someone who had AJ Barner. And
maybe a guy you want to pick up going forward, too.
Yeah, I mean, look, I thought Elijah Arroyo was going to be that guy given where they took him out of Miami this year in the second round, but AJ Barner, big game. And also Torrey Horton, who we talked about earlier in the wide receiver rankings, got a touchdown here. The only turnover outside of Darnold's interception was a Jalen Milroe fumble. I didn't see that happen, Reagan. Did you see that fumble from Milroe?
No.
No, that sucks, man. That sucks for a guy trying to get involved, but yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not gonna lie. The Seahawks sit at 3-2, going to war like this with Tampa Bay. They're kind of gaining my respect a little bit.
Yeah, no, I mean it's hard to fully gauge them because the Cardinals are losers and like the Bucks are still pretty banged up, but they might be legit. I mean, they're going to be a frisky wild card team. I don't think they ultimately have the horses to hang there in the division with the Niners and the Rams, but definitely will be frisky. I mean, they won 10 games last year, so it could be a similar feat now. I definitely was wrong on the 4-win season. I think.
Yeah.
I think.
At least it's
don't
mathematically possible. It's
still
mathematically
possible.
Not like my Ravens pick, dude. Jesus
I think they'll probably
Christ.
win at least 2 more games this season. So
probably. They still got to play the Cardinals again. So, all right, man. The Lions beat up on the Bengals, but hey, Jamar Chase did what he could to make it a ball game here. Ultimately wasn't enough. 37-24. Lions 4-1. Cincinnati, after a great start, now sits at 2-3. Let's start with the Lions because I have more questions I want to ask about the Bengals. Goff, 258, 3 touchdowns. Dude is slinging it. You talk about MVP conversations. He won't get his flowers given how good that offense is, but he's been playing really well since week 1. You know, and Montgomery and Gibbs both did their thing here. They both scored touchdowns. They tied the NFL record for running back tandems to score in the same game all time. I think it's like 15 or 16 now. So that's pretty cool to see, man. Amon-Ra, 8 for 100, no touchdown for Big Dogs Parlay. Very sad. But Laporta had his best game of the season, 92 and a tutty. Isaac Tesla, 1 catch, but again, he scored. So, I mean, God damn it. The guy's a touchdown machine. And then Montgomery threw a touchdown to Brock Wright, which was pretty cool because he grew up in the Cincinnati area and played quarterback in high school. So they drew up a play for him to throw a touchdown in his return to Cincinnati.
Yeah, that is cool. That is cool. I saw his sister was there too that got like paralyzed in a car crash 2 years ago. And it was the first game she's been able to see him play in person since with it being in the hometown. So
I
huge game for David Montgomery.
I just got chills.
And not to make light of it, but it's like, I almost wish like with players that you know this ahead of time, just if we knew that as like bettors, it's like, hey, they're probably going to have a big game when there's a big family matter or something like that. And it's like,
return home, back where you grew up. I wish I knew
baby
he grew
boost,
up in
the
Cincinnati.
birthday boost.
I would have put him in Big Dogs if I knew he grew up in Cincinnati. You know what I mean? So
yeah, or the baby boost, the birthday boost. Always got to be paying attention to those things.
You always got the birthdays, about to have a baby. Those are all very important things. For the Bengals here, Browning 251, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. If it wasn't for Jamar Chase absolutely cooking the DB for a 64-yard touchdown and then scoring another 6 for 110 and 2 touchdowns. I mean, if you're a Jamar Chase fantasy holder, I completely understand being one myself that without Joe Burrow, if you look his entire game log with Jake Browning, it is not that good. But at least in this game, he showed you that he can do it on any given week and win you a matchup. For Browning, though, because this is what because Chase Brown, 8 for 27, disgusting, ill. P. Ryan, 4 for 27, ill. Terrible. Run game is ass. Offensive line is ass. Jake Browning is ass. Are they going to bring a quarterback in here? Is Russell Wilson going to be a Bengal soon? Like, what are they waiting for? What are both teams waiting for? I know Russell Wilson's not great, but he's better than Jake Browning at this point.
Yeah, I would say so. Will they bring in a quarterback? Probably not. Ownership's cheap. Should they bring in a quarterback? Yeah, or at least give Mike White, a guy that has shown some flashes before, a chance. I mean, Jake Browning is not it. Dude is turning the ball over nonstop. I mean, he just looks terrible. I don't know. It's kind of a lost season. I mean, Zach Taylor may get fired. You know, it's hard to fully gauge it because at the end of the day, going to a Super Bowl really protects them in the fact that, you know, Joe Burrow's injured. Like, you know, we didn't fail because of anything else but Joe Burrow's injury. It just sucks because probably going to be the end of the season again. They're going to be right around the wild card hunt. Joe Burrow's going to come back and they're going to come up just short. And it's going to be like a repeat of last year where they just miss out.
Yeah, I mean, I personally am not a big Zach Taylor fan. I think if he didn't have a elite quarterback like Joe Burrow, he would have gotten canned a while ago, in my opinion. I really don't think he's that good of a coach. I think his offensive game style, his decision-making, I don't see it. I don't really see him as a leader of men. Like, I don't know, man. You lose your superstar quarterback, and it's the same thing over and over again. You know, the team doesn't even fight. They get their asses kicked. So that's a big indicator for me. Moving on here. Commanders get the win over the Chargers, as Walmart mentioned in his question earlier today, letting us know that we were way wrong taking the Chargers. 3-2 for both teams here. Jaden Daniels in his return, 231, a touchdown. We talked about Bill earlier, 14 for 111 and 2. I mean, just an awesome game out of Bill. Deebo Samuel without Terry McLaurin continues to be that dude, 8 for 96 and a touchdown. For the Chargers, man, Herbert did not look great. 166, a touchdown to pick. You could tell as soon as he lost Joe Alt, already without Rashawn Slater, this Chargers offense has not looked the same. Scoring 18 against the Giants and then 10 against the Commanders. Not ideal. Losing Amarian Hampton also does not help. Only 12 for 44 in this one. Herbert was actually leading rusher, 4 with 60. So, you know, I mean, at least Ladd McConkey finally got in the end zone if you're a fantasy holder, but still only 39 yards on 5 receptions. Not ideal, man. Not ideal.
Definitely not ideal. You know, my biggest takeaway is, you know, the Chargers are just banged up, man. Like, it could get really ugly really quickly. You know, on the Commander side of the things, like, got to give them more respect. Like, doesn't matter. Like, you know, while Jaden looked human against the Packers, like, he's going to expose these other teams. Like, I got to stop fading the Commanders because as long as Jaden's playing, they're in any game. And we saw it last year when they went into Detroit and just hung 50 on him or whatever it ended up being. Like, this team's legit. You know, Deebo too, gotta love that. You know, he I think now is, I think at least in half point he's a top 12 guy right now. So yeah.
I mean, Deebo's been just an absolute slam dunk for the Commanders, dude. What a trade for them.
Yeah,
if you took him in fantasy drafts, you got to be absolutely stoked right here.
Oh, for sure.
As we see the wheel almost lose, but it looks like there's a OPI, so we might be saved.
Oh, guess not now.
Yeah, Kelsey got in, but there's OPI, it looks like, so we're still alive. All right, man, we got one more game to discuss, and then we can call it for the night. The Patriots on the road get a win. Oh, no, the touchdown did count. God fucking damn it. The Patriots go on the road and get a win 23-20 over the Bills. They're 3-2. The Bills at 4-1. Drake May, 273. No touchdowns through the air. Ramondre Stevenson punched them both in. However, he made some plays, man. We were like, yeah, that's why he went where he did in the draft. That's why he went number 3 overall. That one throw he threw rolling out to the right, it was, oh my God, absolutely disgusting. You see the arm talent here. He's a leader. This team's winning. They believe in him. Really got to tip the cap to Drake May here. They really got nothing going on the ground in this one either. Henderson leading rusher, 6 for 24. You got Ramondre, 7 for 14, the 2 touchdowns. Also another fumble. Gibson fumbled too, but, he tore his ACL in the play, so can't give him slack for that.
Yeah.
Receiving wise, Stephon Diggs revenge game. God damn it. It was so easy. So easy to make money in this game. Just take Stephon Diggs. I think his receiving yard line was like 45 or something. He went for a buck 46 on 10 receptions. The next highest targeted player was Hunter Henry with 4 targets. Diggs at 12. Crazy. For the Bills, Dalton Kincaid, man. Can I do my victory lap? Dalton Kincaid, I was all over Dalton Kincaid, man. 6 for 108 in this one. No touchdown, unfortunately, went to Curtis Samuel and Keon Coleman. Josh Allen threw for 253, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Also had a 53 on the ground. James Cook, his worst game of the season after a dominant start, 15 for 49. Your thoughts on this one, Reagan? For me, it's a divisional game. Anything can happen. Great win for the Pats. We've also seen the Bills lose to the Jets on the road, or you've seen them lose at home. It happens in this division, right? Not concerned about the Bills at all. But hey, maybe we got to start giving some respect to New England at 3-2. And you know what? They have a cupcake schedule. I believe they had the easiest schedule in the season projected coming into it. So
they did,
getting a win over Buffalo on the road certainly helps their prospects of pushing for a wild card spot.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. And Dalton Kincaid is the number 2 tight end on the season. The only guy in front of him, actually, believe it or not, is Jake Ferguson, who is number 1. So
wow, Ferguson and Kincaid, who had that on their bingo card through 5 weeks?
And Tyler Warren at 3, Hunter Henry at 4, Goddard at 6, AJ Barner actually tied for 6. So,
wait, Reagan, my eliminator underdog team that is still alive that survived through 5 weeks. My tight ends are Tyler Warren and Dalton Kincaid. I waited on tight end, and now I'm like, oh yeah, we're liking that.
No, and that's, I'm sure most teams in any format of best ball has been doing bad. If you took Kittle, who's obviously out, Laporta, who's had some flashes, and McBride and Bowers, also really haven't lived up to expectations. So if you waited, you'd be paying off. You'd be paid off big time. What I'll say about the Patriots is they are legit. They definitely could hang around and win this division. I mean, it's going to be tough, because ultimately I still think they have the chance to blow. I still am not fully sold on them that they can't lose to any team any week, where the Bills, it's I feel like they're just going to shellac every team they're supposed to shellac, but definitely made it more evident that this is actually a 2-team race and the Bills aren't going to run away with this division. So, and hey, this might be a fucking back and forth battle for the next 10 years between Drake May and Josh Allen that Jets fans and Dolphins fans just have to sit back and cry about.
Yeah, I saw Connor Hughes, the Jets reporter, was like, oh, great. Now we got to deal with May and Vrabel for the next 12 years. It's like, Drake May might be the next one, dude. He might be the next one. I think after this year, it's going to be like, damn, Daniels, May, and Caleb,
and Bo
wow.
Nix.
And Bo Nix, yeah, but he's had a little bit of a slower start to the season. But yeah, and Bo Nix, it's another quarterback class up there with the 2020 class. Legit one, man. All right,
it's been Penix and McCarthy too.
Yeah,
that's the crazy thing. Penix and McCarthy have such a small sample size, but it's is it possible that all 6 hit? They all have shown enough flashes where you're not looking at any of them calling them a bust yet.
That's absolutely true. Absolutely true. All right, man. It's been an hour and a half, so I'm good. You good?
I'm good. Man.
Let's call it. Hey, drop a comment, drop a like. Appreciate you tuning in with us for the Week 5 recap. The boys will be back later this week for Week 6, as we always are. We appreciate it. Catch you soon on Around the Felt.
Yes, sir.